What's going on, everyone? So I'm back. How'd everybody do today? How'd everybody make out? We had the Donald Trump inauguration today, and boy, oh boy, what I did was I went on social media and I just observed how certain people were moving, particularly those that tried to tell us that the GOP and Donald Trump was going to be this great black hero, great black hope. Yeah, as you can tell, my last consecutive videos, I've been really driving the nail home as to whom I'm going to give the most work to over the next 4 years. And you get it, you guessed it. If you guessed it was all those fake pro blacks, yes sir, yes sir. I was watching how particularly one particular segment of the black American population who was all so gun-ho about how the Democrats are responsible for everything bad in their life or everything that they done or was ineffective in doing in their lives. There was a black man named Derek House. He was killed by some race soldiers, and it got me thinking because a particular Black Thought spokesman in the name of Tariq Nasheed was trying to tell us that, hey, all this happens because of the Democrats. See, the Democrats are the ones that are responsible for the race killings by these race soldiers. And what's real crazy? This individual who steadfastly follows Tariq Nasheed and those of his ilk who was literally getting paid by the GOP to spread disinformation, misinformation. They underneath their tweet today, people were like, "Hey, why don't you talk to Trump? Why don't you, this is hey, what do you want? Hey, President Biden not in office no more." And you know what? That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. I'd like to see that sort of holding people's feet to the fire. And I'm gonna tell you something. When this person spoke about this young black man, Derek House, he was in DuPage County, and he was killed in Illinois. This person who made that post trying to bring attention to the awareness to it. This very same person was very flaunting how, like, before when Joe Biden was in office, how the race soldiers was killing black people, and so when they got asked, "Hey, why don't you talk to Trump?" They turned their comments off. They tweet. They turn their comments off under the tweet. Interesting. So that's just one of the interesting things that I saw. And then the next thing I see from a lot of so-called political scholars who I knew were full of it and just on the payroll of the GOP try to justify Elon Musk today. And, I already reported on what he did today and the inauguration and the gesture he did. And then we got gaslit by individuals telling us that we didn't see what we saw, and we clearly saw it because he did it twice. I'm gonna tell you, this next 4 years, I have so much material. I so deeply needed a break from YouTube, and I'm glad I took it because it has recharged me. And all I did was study, read, and when I tell you I studied individuals. I studied a whole bunch of individuals. Jason Black, I studied you. I studied Tariq Nasheed. I studied a whole bunch of people. Got to know their content from way back. Got to see how people, what do they call that? How they grow, or as I like to say, how they change with the times so that they can maximize their monetary gains. But yeah. I'll tell you, today was interesting. You had those that voted for Trump who were celebrating, and the typical white supremacists. Those people, they're like really basic, and for me, I don't really waste my time with a white supremacist because white supremacists are just one note. Okay, so they're not complex. You don't have to try to break down the mind of a white supremacist. I mean, this is just A and B. 1 plus 1 equals 2. It's very simplistic when you're dealing with a white supremacist. What I like to do is the more complex cases. I like to look at, why did Latinos, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but Trump basically is going to be going after the Cubans who are seeking asylum. And in Florida is basically Cuban Central. And, I'm wondering how the Cubans feel. Now, there are going to be some people who tell you, well, Cuban Americans, they know what he was doing when they voted for him. I want to see. I want to see. I want to see. See, we got to wait about 6 months. And then when we start getting the numbers and the data, which I don't think we're going to be getting actual real data because, hey, the right wing, the far right wing has now taken over all of social media and how things are being reported. So, you're going to get these funny statistics start to be look like they don't make sense because they're not real. We're going to start seeing a whole bunch of that, like they do with the crime statistics with black folks in America, how they clearly do one-sided reports negating other factors. Yeah, we're going to start seeing a whole bunch of that stuff go drop. But yeah, you had that with the Latinos today. And I saw, again, I mentioned briefly in the Elon Musk video I just recently did, where I talked about how that preacher who, God, he was so embarrassing. He was so embarrassed. What's interesting to me, and it's honestly something that my dad used to sit there and tell me. He used to say all the time that, and I never really, not that I didn't believe him, but for me, it was, this can't be true. He used to say all the time that black people are innately, it has been ingrained in us to be submissive towards rich, powerful white men. Doesn't matter who the rich, powerful white man is. We will have an innate shame and fear, but at the same time, it'll be this twisted, distorted idealization of that person. And I'm going to tell you something. Tell me that didn't happen with Joe Biden. Tell me that didn't happen with Donald Trump. I mean, I'm seeing some black folks, they laying it all on the line for Donald Trump. They talking about how, like, there's no way he's this, there's no way he would traffic in racism and hate and bigotry. Meanwhile, he's like really telling you that he's trafficking in racism and hate and bigotry. I mean, it's crazy. And then I'm like, damn, my pops was right. He was right. And I'm just, it's crazy how, like, those that came before us, the wisdom they bestow upon us when we were younger, we kind of just chalk off to the side, and we never really think to ourselves, yeah, man, they got a point. Until you get older and you start getting more of experience, and you're getting out there and you're experiencing different sets of people. And I'm telling you, he was so right. I'm watching all these black folks, and then they're trying to hide behind this whole, like, yeah, look, but they're gonna be rounding up and getting rid of immigration. They're trying to lean real heavy in that, right? Like, they're trying to hide the fact that, yeah, they didn't see Elon Musk do what he did, and the fact that Trump is writing executive orders to roll back DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which does affect them. It's mind-boggling, the ignorance, the willful ignorance of many of us. I mean, these very same people, they so sure that the major win they get is immigration. All right, we're gonna see in a couple months that major win. What else did I observe today? Oh man, the white liberals. I'm not going. White liberals. Y'all not gonna get away with this one. Y'all freaking out. And you're freaking out because black folks have just threw their hands up in the air and said, hey, the 80% that came out for Kamala Harris, and then to watch you guys double your support for Donald Trump and his racism, and now you looking at us to help you still? Sorry. Black folks are saying no mas. They're saying no more. I quit. They're gonna just grab a seat, sit down, and enjoy themselves. Hey, watch the house burn. And they were have it. When we talk about meltdowns, I think the white liberals today had the biggest meltdown. And you know what? It's honestly, to me, it's like, what did you expect? What did you expect? Why are you doing this performative? You're worried about democracy, you're worried about this and that, and yet you aided in this individual becoming president. You ate and you knew what he was gonna do. You know, all the media outlets who all the media outlets that's like, oh my god, we've got to come together and fight. We've got to fight. You know, you hear that all the time from these liberals, these white liberals especially. We have to fight. And you know, when they had allies, they ignored us. All but certain, they ignored us, and so therefore they created a lane for these vultures and these grifters to come in and basically slide off 30% of the vote and help Donald Trump become president. So hopefully they learn a lesson. I mean, hey, I don't know. I mean, personally, I've given my advice to the Democratic Party is to sit and do absolutely nothing. Let Donald Trump and the GOP do all the racist, I mean, clearly flat out disrespectful things to everybody. Let them milk the American people economy wise. I mean, everybody just watched what he did with that crypto scheme. I mean, and nobody's even talking about it. But hey, let it happen. Let it rain. Let it rain. Let all the chaos rain. Because you know what? As the Joker said, it's all part of the plan. Nobody gets upset when it's all part of the plan. And wouldn't you know? Look at this. Nobody's upset about Elon and the Nazi salute. Nobody's upset that Donald Trump ran a crypto scheme 24 hours before he gets inaugurated and takes his oath. Nobody gets upset when, you know, he's got this cabinet full of billionaires. You know, the richest cabinet in U.S. history. And they're supposed to be fighting for the little guy. Oh, and just one other good thing I observed today. Everybody seemed to be also like laughing at Vivek Ramaswamy because he got fired from Doge before Doge even started. Isn't it odd? Isn't it funny? Isn't it just coincidental that the Indian or the Hindu is the one who got fired? Yeah, you black Americans out there who was so riding hard for the GOP, I'm sure they're going to be looking out for you. Sure, they're going to look out for us. Yeah. Man, I tell you, when I tell you I'm going to have so much fun these 4 years. I mean, normally you guys know me. Anybody who comes across my videos who have been with me for as long as they have been through the years, you know, I mean, I'm usually got this depressive tone where I'm like, really striving to see the best in everybody, and no longer seeing the best in any of you. No sir. No. I now that my eyes are completely open. I'm completely open to all of this big old sham. And I'm really want to get into the meat and potatoes of things, because I really want Trump to start doing stuff that starts tangibly hurting us, and so I can break it down to you guys, and I'm gonna laugh as I break it down. I'm telling you, when I start reporting on what he does and the bills he passes and how it affects you negatively, and you notice I said negatively. I didn't say negatively or positively. How it said negatively, and when I report on it and how it affects you negatively, I'm gonna laugh, and I'm gonna sound so jubilant. I'm gonna sound so happy and excited that your life is gonna suck. It's because honestly, you deserve it. You deserve it. It's gonna be so much fun. This is listen. I want, by the next midterms, I want to hear all of you. I want to hear all of you, and I want to hear all the excuses I want to hear all the, oh, I mean, hey, let's hear out what this candidate has to say. Because, hey, maybe they'll do something for us. Let me tell you something. If you think the next few candidates are going to try to get your vote after what you did after this election, if you think they going to try to waste any time going to you, what? What? Oh man, this is gonna be so much fun. But hey, it is what it is. The sun shall rise tomorrow, and it will set in the evening. And I'm going to be here, just absorbing all of the tears and chaos. Man, oh man, I tell you, it's crazy. It is mind blowing how the American people can be so obtuse. And then they talking about like TikTok and how like hit Trump saving TikTok is going to solidify him the 15 and 17-year old, the future voters of America. And I'm like, man, if you couldn't tell already that this country is screwed, and that the pretty much the millennials, the back end millennials, are probably the last of the intellectuals, the actual intellectuals of this country. I don't know what to tell you. This new generation that came after the millennials, and the ones that came after them, no, we done. It's been over. Why did you even look towards and even have hope? Okay, when Instagram videos and TikTok videos are how everyone gets their political information or they learn about their history, you've got a problem. So, I mean, come on now. I had no hope in the youth to begin with. So, yeah, I hope everyone has a good one for the week, and I hope everyone's work week goes well. I hope you don't get laid off first off, and I hope you prosper in the next 4 years. Okay, guys. Good luck.